Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Becky and this is Therapy with Wanjiru, a channel that I created as a space for mental health awareness, educating ourselves about mental disorders and also social support to people affected by mental illnesses and spreading love, spreading joy, spreading hope to people, okay? Thank you for the support that you've always shown me on my previous videos. If you haven't hit that subscription button, make sure you do. Please, please, please. I will gladly appreciate your support, okay? So today I have a very interesting topic. I've had several questions about this particular disorder, and today we are gonna be talking about autism. Watu wengi wanaijua inaitangwa autism. Yeah, so like that's the common name that people use. Clinically, the mental disorder autism is known as ASD, and that is autism spectrum disorder. So we're gonna get straight right into it. Autism in clinical terms is known as autism spectrum disorder, and that is ASD. And we've probably heard the term spectrum, meaning it occurs differently in every individual, okay? And in this particular video, we are going to be looking at some of the symptoms of autism, some of the treatment options for autism, what we should do to support those people who have autism, and at what age is autism detected. Okay, so basically, autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder that affects how a person communicates, that affects how a person relates to people socially. So it's basically an illness that brings about a difference in the brain chemistry and brain development. Okay, so autism is a lifetime illness. So with the right support, right medication, right social support, those who are surrounding them, this particular individual can thrive. Okay, so let's go straight into what causes autism. Number one, we have the brain chemistry. When I talk about brain chemistry, I mean the differences in brain development. You know, when we are small, unapata like different kids grow differently, and all kids have different growth spans. One child might start talking at a different age compared to the other. Kuna mwingine anaweza anza kuongea mapema, kuna mwingine ataanza kuongea late, kuna mwingine in terms of like expressing themselves ataanza ku express way more earlier, ataanza kuji-express way more earlier compared to the other one, okay? And that is why we are saying spectrum, because it occurs differently in every person, okay? And number two, we have genetics. That is what we call genetic predisposition, yeah, meaning it recurs, yeah, because it's already in the genetics, it's already in the genes, okay? And that is what we mean by genetic predisposition. If at all there's a history in the family, autism, there definitely is going to be um, a child who's going to be affected by autism. Another cause of autism can be prenatal or biological factors. So, for the prenatal factors, we are basically talking about, now in this case, we are going to refer to the mother because the mother is the carrier. The mother carries the baby in the womb. Once the mother experiences complications during pregnancy, we have different complications during pregnancy. Another one might be significant maternal infections. This might also affect the baby's brain development. Also, exposure to harmful substances, and in this case, I mean drugs. Substances such as drugs, if at all you expose a baby to such, definitely this will affect the baby's brain development. Another one is severe nutritional deficiencies. If a mother doesn't feed quite well, if a mother doesn't get the right nutrition, unapata that this might affect the baby's brain development. And so that is why it's mostly advisable for expectant mothers to take good nutrition, good food that add nutritional value to their bodies, because once you get pregnant, once you become expectant, uh, it's said that you are supposed to take foods that are healthy, you know, so that so that you can help in the baby's development, and in this case the brain is also part of the baby. So unapata if at all the parent doesn't eat foods that are needed in the body for the baby to develop well, unapata this might also lead to that particular condition. And that is why we are talking about prenatal factors that might be that might affect the baby's brain chemistry. What are these symptoms of autism? Let's dive into it. Social communication differences. Okay, and when I talk about social communication differences, I tend to mean these are like social cues. Is that particular child good with socializing? How do they relate with people? So number one, this particular child may have the difficulty in interpreting cues. Number two, we have limited eye contact. Yes, limited eye contact is also a symptom of this communication social cues. Do they have a difficulty in maintaining eye contact? Then that might be a symptom of autism. Number three, we have delayed speech patterns. Now, let me clarify this. You know, we have different growth spans, especially when it comes to children, and you find that different people grow differently, different kids grow differently. Kuna mwenye ataanza kutaja tu maneno kidogo kidogo at a very young age, at a very early age, and kuna mwingine mwenye ataanza kuongea at a very late stage. We have preference in independence, especially when it comes to play. This particular child tends to prefer independence and they don't want to like socialize with other kids. It's very good that you take your kid out to like a playground, let them play, let them interact with other kids, to other children. Let your child socialize with other children in the compound. You know, it's very important because it helps them relate, and it also helps them to build their social cues and social interactions. Number two, we have behavioral and cognitive patterns. Number one, we have repetitive movements and routines. If at all you see your child has like repetitive movements, repetitive routines, they want to do things in a particular way, that might be an alarm for you to observe your child and also get the necessary required advices from specialists. We also have strong attachment to structure. There are children who naturally get attached too quickly to different structures, be it an object, you know. So this might also be an alarm. So you also need to take care of that and also know that getting too much attached to different structures might also be an alarm. Now we have sensory processing differences. Sensory processing differences, we have kids or rather children who they are oversensitive and undersensitive to different things such as light and sound. If at all unaona mtoto wako ako na like ako so sensitive to things like light or rather sound, that's also an alarm for you to get help or rather seek help from a professional. And also things like sensitive to sound, sensitive to light, you know, things like those. Or even you have a child who is not sensitive at all, or rather is undersensitive to things like light. Too much light, they are still okay and functioning well, or too much sound, they are still okay, you know, such things. You also need to take care and also seek help whenever it's needed, okay? Now let's look at early signs and early detection. When does it, like, how can you know that your child has this autism? Autism signs oftenly occur during early childhood. And early childhood, I mean a child who has already started, ameanza kutambaa kidogo kidogo, unaona anaanza kucrawl chini. And that is 2 years, 1.5 years mostly. Yeah, from 1.5 years going onwards, you find that hapo sasa your early childhood, okay? And this particular child has maybe started expressing themselves. Now, this is the age, 1.5 years, from 1.5 years, okay? Such signs are detected in early childhood. And if a child has those particular symptoms, it's always good to seek help early enough. Like I've said before, it's very good to detect these signs early enough and early childhood, and most likely inakuanga from like 18 months. 18 months ni mwaka moja na nusu, so 1.5 to 3 years, that is early childhood, and you can always detect, okay? You can detect these two signs pole pole, you know, and seek help when needed. People with autism, they have strengths as well. They have strengths. They're just people like us. It's just that their brain chemistry is quite different from ours, and how they respond to social cues is also different from how we respond. Let's look at management and support, or rather support approaches on what we can do to help this person or these people or children who have autism. Number one, tuko na speech therapy. Speech therapy is very important. If at all you may detect that your child has a late speech ama hajaanza kuongea, you can always seek help from professionals. We have very many speech therapists. You can always take your child there, na he or she will get help. Number two, we have occupational therapy, which is also very important. We also have structured routines. Yeah, it's always good for people who have autism to maintain structured routines, because that is what helps them. Medications as well. Medication is very important for people who have high functioning autism. We also have family and community support. Unapata most of these people who have autism, unapata that people normally neglect them, or rather wanawadharau, yeah, wanawastigmatize, and it's very sad to see that. So if at all in your community, in your family, there's someone who has autism, it's very good that you are able to support them, be there for them, encourage them, treat them nicely so that they cannot feel neglected. These are the things that we're talking about. Yes, because once you treat them nicely, once you take them through therapy, you take them to therapy, they're able to get help, they're able to, yani there's just that awareness that is created. And once that awareness is created, these particular people who are affected by autism, unapata, they thrive in those environments. They thrive very well in those environments. They're able to learn, they're able to live well, they are happy. Unapata wanakuwa happy because they're just human beings like us. It's just that their brains are not privileged enough to function like ours. Okay, so it's very good that we support these people. I really encourage parents to spend time with their kids. Unajua, in these times or in this generation, unapata most of the people leave their kids with nannies, means most of them leave their kids with caregivers. And I'm not saying it's bad, it's really nice, but also spend some time with your child, get to understand your child, get to bond with your child, so that at least that you are going to be able to see these particular things. If at all your child has autism, it is very important, yeah, to detect these signs early. Asikuje ati una detect baadaye. Okay, yeah, so it's very good to detect these early signs mapema, and it's very important to also have time with your kids so that you can be able to know these particular signs. Okay, and something also to note is autism is not caused by parenting styles. No, it's not caused by a parenting style. It's basically caused by what I mentioned, biological factors. Biological factors kama ni genetics, vitu kama hizo, but not parenting styles. Create time for your child as much as you are busy. Create time for your child, look at your child, spend time with them when you can. Okay, so that has been our session for today. Thank you so much for being here. Please don't forget to hit that subscription button. I will gladly appreciate it. Till our next video, bye.